Hello and welcome back to the Dota 2 Asia Championship 2015 here on HeflaTV. This is going to be game 2 of our best of 2 series between TongFu and NVIDIA Aces. I'm Grandis Fee, and once again I'll be joined by Mr. Blackadder.
And we're starting straight away with an axe. The flavor of the month is here, apparently, so there's going to be absolutely no relentless pushing into an axe, at least. Otherwise, well, as rightfully said by a friend of mine the other day, it's like a 10-second RP, an axe, on a RP on a 10-second cooldown even. Such a powerful initiating tool, and all it takes for axe is a blink dagger. Generally, we'll see it within the first 10 minutes. It's going to be such a nasty way to start things off for the aces, and really now we're just looking for things to capitalize off of that kind of initiation.
Definitely, and well, this game is definitely going to have a different flavor than what we saw in game number 1, as we're going to see Naga, Siren, Batrider, and Ember Spirit taken out of the pool. TongFu going to snag up the Vengeful Spirit, but a lot of powerhouses left available to them should they want to snag them up.
Indeed, and we do see, of course, bans in this stage. Naga, Juggernaut, both removed by TongFu. Don't really want to have some late game shenanigans versus the Ember Spirit and the Batrider banned out by the Aces. Something more frequent these days, since Ember and the Juggernaut's so powerful in this patch. The bans, I think, are fully justified, but oh, the troll is back. TongFu gonna do it again, possibly. They like this kind of relentless aggression that a troll warlord can bring, and I've got to admit, I can get behind this kind of draft.
Yeah, it really did work wonders for them, and I do like the combination. Vengeful Spirit and Troll Warlord have a lot of nice synergy together, and on the dire side even more so. Easy access to Roshan. We'll probably see it at least attempted earlier than what we saw in game number 1. Io going to be the second pickup for Aces, and as far as the Io play is concerned, it worked well for them, even though they didn't have the traditional partners with the Io. Just as a standalone hero, we saw some pretty clutch saves, and the global ganks did keep them in the game for as long as they were in it.
Yeah, I got to admit, I'll agree with you on that one. I honestly would have liked maybe a Tiny or even a Chaos Knight, just something more traditional to pair with the IO, something that can really gank heavy, but it did work out quite nicely with the Ember Spirit. In this game, however, we could see IO Axe. That's going to put Axe in the fray, in the thick of things very quickly in every fight, and it could be quite nice here for the Aces, but I'm still looking for something else to work with IO, since Axe can usually rely on his own Blink Dagger.
I would like to see that Faceless Void Troll Warlord combination in this game, but, well, TongFu, they're just not going to change much up, although this is going to be switching sides. It's going to be Jakiro for them, and it worked pretty well for Aces, but no, the IO combination is going to be the IO Bristleback. We're going to be seeing a lot of brawls. Troll, Axe, Bristleback, it really doesn't get much more man-fight heavy.
Oh, I am in for a show. I'm going to enjoy this one. We can get quite a bit of energy into this. But now we're looking for a fourth pick for TongFu. Where do they go? They've got their mid hero in the Troll Warlord. They've got their supports in Jirakiro and VS. Morphling banned out this case. What would you go with for your hard carry here, Grandis?
I would really like to see the Void. I think that's probably one of the better options left in the pool, even though Bristleback and Axe are incredibly scary when it comes to what they're able to do if they actually get into a man fight. Bashes inside Chronosphere especially are going to make it so they're not actually able to accomplish much. At the very least, take one of them off of the table, and then it's a lot easier to focus them down, or even focus down the IO.
I'd very much like to see the twin Bash Lords up in this game as well. Of course, how can the Aces lineup stop this kind of play? I mentioned in game number 1, maybe an OD. OD can work quite nicely. Bristleback going to be slowing things down, giving OD all of that time to right-click away with the Arcane Orb. You've got the nice combination of Arcane Aura, of course, with Bristleback, and oh, there's a Razor. That's going to deter my idea completely. You can't run an OD up against a Razor.
You can, but it definitely takes away one of the biggest strengths of the hero, which is that laning stage. For TongFu, as well as their 5th pick is concerned, Timbersaw definitely deserves honorable mention since they are up against 3 strength heroes, and having that extra burst damage definitely wouldn't go amiss.
I'll agree to that, but now I'm wondering, how do Aces round out their draft?
Well,
You could Bristleback your IO. It could be an aggro Bristle. It's certainly against a Razor. Well, Razor could actually min, and then it could be a laning Troll Warlord, but as far as I've seen, TongFu prefer that mid-troll, so I'm expecting it to be safe lane Razor in this instance only.
Yeah, we'll just have to see how things shake down for them. As far as the next pickup for Aces, I think they'll just snag up their other support. What that is a different question entirely. There's nothing extremely necessary that goes with them. They'd love to have the Venge on their side, but I'd like to see the Dazzle. I think just having even more sustain through the two supports, even though it is going to harm a little bit of the supports individually looking for kills, it'll just make the Axe and Bristleback so much more scary.
Either a Dazzle, a Shadow Demon, or a Rubik. I would not be averse to any of those three. Rubik would have a field day with Spell Steal in this game, whereas you've got the power of a Shadow Demon. Amplification works acceptably well with the IO, can set up for Axe's Call. Bristleback likes the amplification. I reckon both could work here, and I neglect one of my favourite heroes because I always expect them to be banned lately. Hello, Lion. Finger of Death. Goodbye, Troll Warlord.
It's definitely a really good way to deal with the troll, especially before he gets BKB, and just a really nice support all around. Having that Blink Hex initiation eventually coming out, and even before them, just having the raw disabling power, really is what makes Lion so special, and what's seen him inside those ban slots so often as of late.
Yeah, a Hex and a Stun with a mana drain that instantly kills illusions. I do like that kind of thought, but in this game, I look at Troll Warlord, I look at VS, and I think, low health, really squishy, you got an Axe there. I'm just thinking Finger of Death is the logic here for this one. I'm not doubting his CC capabilities at all, but the longer Troll Warlord's in a fight, the more problems you are going to have.
Yeah, fair enough. Queen of Pain last ban coming out from TongFu, and it would have been pretty nice for Aces with so many tanky frontline beefcakes that they could throw up and allow the Queen of Pain to just dance around the sidelines and cutting around the Troll and Razor in particular. So I can definitely understand the logic behind that ban. For TongFu, their last pickup is going to be interesting. This could be an offlane Jakiro if they really wanted to get away with it. I think he'd be able to get a decent amount out of that lane. Or they just go for a different offlaner altogether, which is also pretty likely. I think the Timbersaw ban from Aces would definitely fit the bill.
Yeah, Timbersaw removed here against TongFu, I completely agree with. We've seen some insane Timbersaw play in the last 5 days by Massacre, by we had a Timbersaw yesterday as well, I believe, with a large number of with no Bloodstone charges. Actually, that was a time the Timbersaw didn't take off. But the last ban of the game will be the Abaddon. Sorry, the Doom, and we'll get the Abaddon as pick. Hello, TongFu. I did not expect an Abaddon. I don't know about you.
It is probably going to be an offlane Jakiro. An offlane Jakiro with the Abaddon as the support in that dual lane can be very potent and can secure a decent time inside there. It's going to offer some nice sustain for them, but as you said, I didn't really expect the Abaddon either.
I suppose in the long run, the Aphotic Shield's going to remove a lot of Lion's CC capabilities. It's going to reduce his burst damage. Then you've got also Borrowed Time, the Mist Coil, which can put out some good early aggression. And we get a Meepo. This is going to be painful.
It really is. I don't see TongFu actually dealing with the Meepo very well unless they get lucky bashes from the Troll Warlord. If the Troll actually has uptime on hitting the Meepo, that's a different story. But right now, NVIDIA Ace's lineup is just so scary. I wouldn't want to play against it. How do TongFu actually deal with any one of these heroes individually, much less as a unit? It just feels like they're lacking the damage. I really have to favor Ace's lineup.
Yeah, I'm going to turn around and agree with you. I'm a betting man, and I was thinking I reckon TongFu will take the series before we started, but wow, Ace's draft here, I cannot go against it. This just works. They've got good initiation power from both the Axe, the IO, and the Meepo. They've got good burst damage from the Meepo and the Lion. They've got Culling Blade if they need to kill off the Abaddon. This just makes sense. It is one of those moments of perfect clarity. And as far as I'm concerned, how do TongFu deal with the Meepo? They can't, really. And especially if Misa takes off on this Meepo. And I've seen Misa play Meepo before. We have cast Misa playing Meepo before, I think about a month and a half back. He played insanely. If he can repeat that performance, then Aces can easily take this game off TongFu.
Yeah, I really think that we should be seeing more 5th pick Meepo, especially in situations like this, where the enemy team just doesn't have anything directly to kill him off, reliably that is. They have Ice Path, which is very disruptive for the Meepo, and a lot of other tools, but yeah, I think this just works. We'll have to see if it actually is going to be executed properly, but TongFu, it really feels like they're already at a severe disadvantage. They'll secure the bounty rune down towards bottom at the very least, whereas Axe gets the one towards top. No actual fights breaking out, although we are going to see Razor still 21 damage and put some harass into the Axe. He'll be able to get through that with just one of his Tankos.
Yeah, he'll shrug that off. He doesn't really care all that much, but more importantly, let's see how these lanes take shape. In the mid lane, we have a bit of a dual lane of Bristleback and a IO. I suppose this is a good way to go up against a Troll Warlord. You can punish him and you can just sustain through the usual harass that we saw be the downfall of Fox in game number 1 on the Naga.
Yeah, okay. What the heck's opening up? They're going to go aggressive, and this is a way to deal with the troll, I suppose. But not with those melee axes flying through. That blind chance is going to mean that they actually can't go for anything else. I completely zoned out. Apologies there, but... well...
Fox in a lot of trouble. He's going to go down here to you with one more right click. That's first blood, going the way of the Troll Warlord once again. And that's not what I expected. I expected more presence on the lane from Secret, and then they can just sort of sustain through the damage. But getting a bit over-aggressive when you're fighting a Troll is a very bad thing. He can turn around and punish so easily. But I suppose if this is the kind of gameplay we're going to see out of you, then I may be misjudging my bet on Aces, since this is you playing Troll, and he played a phenomenal Troll in game number 1. If he can repeat that performance, then TongFu are going to have a very good time here. But in comes the Courier, not going to get sniped, and the blocking is there. You may be staying a little bit too long. A couple of right clicks will steal his fate. It's going to be cleaned up, most likely by the IO. One more right click comes down. Does slow Fox under the tower, and he will go down to that final tower shot, so it's a 1-for-1 at the end of the day, but the experience advantage going the way of Aces there is going to be quite favourable.
I still think that's completely fine for the Troll. This is a Troll going up against a dual lane, not getting 1 but 2 kills, including the first blood, and is still doing just fine when it comes to that level department. Up towards top, deep dive going onto the Razor, but with damage stolen, they can't very easily get this kill, but now they bring in the IO for a little bit of extra movement speed, and they'll be able to land the Earth Spike onto the Razor and bring him down as well. 2-2 is going to be our kill score.
Indeed, now in comes LPC looking to try to just zone the enemy with the Aphotic shield damage, but I don't really think the Ace lineup are all that scared of an Abaddon at this point. I mean, I wouldn't be, and the creep cutting will just continue. How do you deal with this creep cutting? You need to rotate heroes up here to just force it out. And, well, stealing the damage from the Axe is going to be one way. The Earth Spike actually misses from KL7. This could be quite bad. Kian's stealing a lot of damage. There's the taunt. He steals 112 damage. That's huge this early. Look how much damage it does to KL7. A couple of right clicks could seal his fate, especially if Secret goes forward. Oh, that 0 armor on the Wisp could have almost, well, killed him off. In fact, it will. One long-range attack coming out of the Razor, and that's going to finish that one. Now comes the taunt. Kian could be a fatality here, but in comes that Plasma Field, trying to at least get the counter kill onto KL7 before he falls himself, but with the Battle Hunger, one more right click from the Axe, that's going to be another kill going the way of the Aces. The pace is just ramped up. Kabu will rotate in, gets that magic missile onto the Lion, and will finish him off, but he will pay for it with his life. The kill going the way of Secret on the IO. The relentless aggression from both lanes, from both sides up on this top lane even, just starting to be formidable, and this is going to give 82 a very fast blink dagger if this kind of thing continues. He's already got 1,000 gold at 3 minutes 37 seconds.
Which is incredible. A bloodbath up in the top lane is going to be the Axe really benefiting from all of those trades. Left alone, the Bristleback isn't doing as well as he'd like to up against the Troll Lord, especially after a Troll getting this good of a start. He is going to be sitting at 19-4 compared to the 10-1 of the Bristle. The lane we haven't been looking at much is the bottom lane. Meepo's been left alone. Oh, hold that thought as we have a fight brewing inside the Rivers. They're going to be going up and now continuing the chase. With the blind chance on the Bristleback, it is going to delay a little bit of this damage, but the Quill stacks are going to prove too much for him and can't really do much of anything except for watch himself fall. And they bring the Abaddon, however, potential for a turn. They're going to be able to purge up those stacks, but now with the Wisp Lords flying through, it's too much damage, and now they look towards LPC. They'll be able to bring him down as well as Lion secures the second kill for his team.
2 for 1, 2 for none actually in favor of the Aces there.
Bottom again, Magic Missile. They are going to connect onto Misa, looking for any follow-up from the Jakiro. They don't have an Ice Path, but one more attack from Kabu is going to get that kill for TongFu. Back to black.
Relentless aggression across all the lanes. So what more can we ask for? And if the Aces lineup can continue getting a good number of kills onto the Bristleback or through the Axe, then This is going to be quite nasty, and it's 6 for 5 at the minute, at the 5-minute mark, over 2 kills a minute. This is the kind of thing we love here on HeflaTV, and we're at net worth total for the graph-wise, 0, effectively. It's starting to go towards 500, but again, look how close this game is for the aggression on both sides. 0 experience either, and the Vengeful Spirit will actually go down to KL7 and Secret. I actually caught the tail end of that one. That was quite the kill on their support. 2 support in sharing the experience, certainly going to be nice for KL7 and crew, but how close are we to Finger of Death? A level and a half, and then it all gets much nastier for the TongFu lineup.
Misa does have his second Meepo, but he's currently sitting at base. He's probably going to bring him in for this fight, so my point might be mute. Or never mind that, with the shield on Jakiro, he's just too darn scary. They are going to poof both of them in, but right now Misa just hasn't been able to pick up that much momentum on the Meepo. That can change very quickly once he mops up some stacks that have been prepared for him, or scratch that, they're actually going to give him a Fox.
The axe on the top lane does get initiated on, trying to cut the creep wave, being a very ballsy, and now he's going to pay for it with his life, but looks since the taunt is there, but he gets bashed. Magic Missile. There's no way to escape this one, and Kian will clean up 82, and this kind of over-aggression from the axe might cost him in the long run. He's going to have to meter that aggression a little bit more.
When you have the IO as well as the line behind you, that's one story, but when you're all alone, you can't really afford to go at that, especially if TongFu are going to react accordingly. Meepo still isn't having a great time, as I was talking about earlier, and any items that he's picking up are going to be heavily delayed, since they have decided to give Bristleback some
Speaking of Meepo, they're going to go very aggressive with Secret backing up the Meepo, but can they bring down the Jakiro? It seems like they might be able to, but he does get that last Ice Path of going to buy some time, and LPC in the tree line, they ping him out, they know he's there, he miscalled to try to buy some time, but the Wisp will be able to finish him off, or will he? No, the last orb is taken by Kabu, and now you get the turnaround. They managed to bring down the Meepo. That's not the fight that I thought they would get, and still the Jakiro is standing. He is just so damn tanky with the Aphotic Shield and the healing and the miscall behind him, but he will take a fall finally. Doesn't manage to finish off Secret, and now you've got Kabu possibly going to get caught out by 82. One taunt does not catch on Kabu, but he's blocked in anyway. There's the cull. Air axe, and just starting to do the chopping.
Definitely. It's working well for Aces, at the very least, what this axe is getting, but 82 needs to keep up this aggression and put that early Blink Dagger to use. And speaking of the early Blink, he's going up to gold to pick that one up. They need to make more space so Misa can find some farm, because right now this Meepo is not really contributing to his team in any significant way.
Yeah, I'll completely agree to that one. However, on the flip side of the coin, we do have a Midas now up for Kian, and I'm not too sure how much I like this Midas, considering you're up against an Axe who's going to have a very early Big Dagger. Magic Missile comes in onto Misa. He's not going to have a very nice time. In fact, he will burn down to the Jakiro.
Yeah, going to be pretty straightforward kill onto Misa's. They just have so many ways at this point to lock down the Meepo because of the early start that he's had, which isn't good at all. Usually at this point you want to be clearing up some stacks on the Meepo, at least have the Ogre Club towards your Aghanim Scepter and be about halfway there. They are giving a lot of love to the Bristleback and the Axe, which is fine and all, but they really haven't been able to transition that into anything meaningful as far as map objectives. TP up towards top and the Axe going to fly through, and he actually doesn't cancel. Not going to get there fast enough to deny that tier 1. Blink going to call to cancel the TP coming out from the Razor, but doesn't look like he's going to be able to get that kill unless they bring in some more with the relocating from the IO. That is going to be your first call, and now looking towards the Chihiro as it is going to be Secret to mop up that kill, and it's actually a mega kill spree for this IO. 6-1 and 4, going to relocate the Axe back towards the mid lane, and potential an opener onto this Abaddon, going to be spun around once, twice, and then cold, as he does not have his level 6 available, and he is going to fall.
IO Axe, new meta. Just look at this aggression across multiple lanes with the cull, and just, you cannot survive this kind of aggression coming out of 82 at this point. And he's going back, finding the stacked camps. I would have preferred to see these left for the Meepo, personally, but as it stands, he's going to help himself to those. He's going to get about 1,400 gold. What would you want to go for on the Axe in this game after the blink?
It kind of feels like a Vanguard into a Crimson Guard would really do wonders for his team. It depends on who they want to put that on, however. Fox might be considering that, and if not, maybe you can even afford to just rush straight towards an Aghanim Scepter.
I suppose an Aghanims would do quite a bit. It does increase the kill threshold considerably, as well as bring the cooldown down to a flat, I believe, 8 seconds across the board. That kind of power of the Aghanims, plus the stats it gives, is quite nice.
I neglect the Blade Bell, actually. That is going to be the choice.
The blame out is a very good one to point out as well, just being able to get in and cause all manner of havoc. But I wonder personally what Fox is up to right here. He does have Secret nearby. No, he's going to realize, yeah, we can't really dive onto this tier 1, especially when it's backed up. Look in the side jungle here, Cabu and LPC ready to go.
Yeah. Finally, Meepo is able to find some space inside the jungle, and, well, it actually looks like Misa might be saving up straight towards a Blink Dagger, and I suppose it does fit the style of aggression that they're going for. Or maybe it's going to be Boots of Travel Rush. I've seen that from several Meepos, and it allows them to accelerate their farm nicely.
The downside here is he just hasn't had that early game, so he's not going to have the early Aghanims or the Blink Dagger pressure that we usually associate with a Meepo. But now in comes the TPs. Kian trying to get involved in this one, does good damage with the Plasma Field, but 82 cannot find a good taunt yet. They're going to pop the mech, going to buy some time. Secret dropping low though. In comes a 3-man call. That's going to buy quite a bit of time. But there's going to be no chance to cull anyone, and 82 might fall here if he's not careful. Finger of Death does come in from KL7, finishing off the Razor. Now you've got Fox just toe-to-toe with everyone. This is the strength of the Bristleback. He can fight like this. And on the sidelines, you've got 82 fighting up with Yu. However, Yu's going to be able to finish off Secret with one more right click. Or is he? No, he's got the overcharge going. He's actually going to survive this one. Yu hobbling away. The call will miss, unfortunately, but he's going to start getting a bit battle hungry.
He is going to be able to survive through that one. It's a very low-level battle hunger coming out from the axe. So that is going to be the end of it. It is actually those Boots of Travel Rush that I was talking about a little bit earlier. And this is one of the greedier ways to play Meepo, I suppose. If you get these Boots of Travel super early, you can get a very fast Aghanim Scepter with it as well, just because of the global map pressure you're able to have with this item choice.
I can completely agree to that, I suppose, and it's a way you can recover. I suppose in some ways it could be considered more useful than a Midas on a Meepo, since you'll be able to get and farm all of the bigger creep waves. And I expect, yeah, there's Boots of Travel to the top lane, Meepo, Misa, going to start doing some work up here, and, well, I would very much like to see an Aghanims on him, considering he has nothing to give him stats at this moment, and he really does need it on that Meepo.
Oh, of course. I think that is probably the next choice coming out from him, but he is going to be on a long road towards recovery. It's probably going to take him about 10 minutes before he has that up on the line.
Yeah, once he does, it's going to be quite nice, though, in favour of the Aces lineup. Of course, it's going to be up to 82
Relocate
to really
bottom.
work with that. Relocate going bottom. They're going to look to bring down Xingqiu. If they can catch him, that's going to be perfect. The negative earn, the slows coming in from the Bristleback, but mass TP response. If they can kill Secret, that's going to be pretty damn huge, because there'll be no way for Fox to get out. The swap does come forward to make sure there's going to be no way to stop this, but call on everyone. There's one call. Make that two. They're just going to start killing everyone. Kian needs to be the target, though, for Foxes. They still have the axe alive, but he is low. Everyone's going to have to run. Look how low Kian is. Going to be given the Aphotic Shield, going to buy him enough time to back up and get the hell out of there, but that's a 2-for-1. Secret for a Vengeful Spirit and a Jakiro.
Those Quills really doing quite a number. Beautiful Earth Spike as well flying through the line, and in the meantime they allow Misa to have a lot of space in this Meepo up towards top, where he takes a tier 1 tower as well as finds himself some much needed farm. It's going to be the Aghanim Scepter. He has the Ogre Club completed, and well, things are looking good for Aces, even after a really early start for TongFu. You can't even call it that because of how many kills this Axe and Bristleback have been involved in.
Yeah, I'll agree to that one. The Axe and the Bristleback have been involved in so many kills. And we might be looking for more right now. I hear an Axe taunt. What's he going on? No, he's just clearing creep camps. I sort of freeze whenever I hear it, because it's like, yeah, there's going to be action. It's what Axe has been all about in this recent month. I mean, he's Flavor of the Month for good reason. He is so powerful an initiator. And it's good to see, considering you think back a year, how often was Axe picked a year ago?
Very little, if at all. It was also one of those picks that probably should have seen a little bit more love, but either way, that's pretty much irrelevant now. Axe going to complete up that Blade Mail. Is TongFu going to group up and look towards a push in mid? With the Liquid Fire and Jakiro, they've already taken 2 tier 1s, and this one in mid is going to be no exception, I feel.
Yeah, when this tower falls, it's just going to give a bit of an edge the way of TongFu, considering it's a good tower to defend Roshan in favour of Aces. But speaking of Roshan, the big man's been pretty much left alone in this game. That's sort of surprising, considering Meepo, well, I suppose Meepo starting this game wasn't that nice, but considering TongFu have easy access to it and they have a Trollwarlord with a Vladimir's, you would think there would be some kind of fight over Rosh already.
Yeah, I think so as well. Even bigger, however, as far as item pickups are concerned, is we have a 14-minute Blink Dagger up on a support line, which is very impressive. And they'll be able to put this to good use. The amount of ways that they can start a fight is pretty absurd at this point. We have a P coming out from the Aces. We are going to have to wait for a little bit as Axe looks to reconnect.
Unfortunately, we have had some tech issues the last few days with disconnects, so touch wood, we are going to be able to continue this one smoothly. But what you were saying about that Blink Dagger on the Lion, yeah, I am in complete agreement. It does give you such a powerful initiating tool with that Hex. Just being able to blink in, get a Hex, get an Earth Spike, then throw out the Finger of Death, drop your entire load of spells in 2 seconds flat. It's going to give such powerful initiating sides to the Aces, considering they already have that Axe. And in this case, I would not be averse to seeing an Aghanims on the line, considering they already have the Call, which is going to bring everyone nice and close.
Yeah, I do quite like it, and honestly, I think most games it's a pretty good call. Whether he deviates for a 4-staff first, I think, is the bigger question.
I just think a 4-staff would certainly be a very good choice, considering how easily the Troll Warlord can catch up to a target, or the Razor when he can chase down someone. A 4-staff can just get you out of harm's way so much easier. So maybe 4-staff into Aghanims, unless we are looking for that all-important greedy play.
Yeah, well, for now, we are stalled out a little bit. After such a poor start, this Meepo has done an admirable job of catching up in the net worth, currently out-farming the Razor, who went for this Midas, and really this Midas just hasn't done anything for him, hasn't propelled him towards that next major item, and it really goes to show how much space that Aces are able to make for the Meepo, and that just really isn't reflected by TongFu. The tower pressure they put on with the Chikiro really hasn't stopped Aces from doing anything, and it really does hurt when you're dealing with a tower advantage, but a gold disadvantage. It's currently 4,000 in favor of Aces in both net worth and experience.
And now we lose Secret as well. I'm hoping the network manages to recover. The Perfect World servers have been under a bit of strain lately, but, well, here's hoping that we can get things back underway as soon as possible.
Definitely, that's pretty much all we can hope for.
So, I'm looking around the TongFu lineup right now, and I can see we've got the Vladimirs, we've got the Phase Boots on the Troll Warlord. I'm thinking he's going to need a BKB, considering the power the Meepo is going to have, plus the Lion, the control effects. But for the Razor, do you think that he can really invest in that BKB? Because he still doesn't really have anything major, and if he goes BKB, he's not going to have all that much damage or attack speed. I feel like he needs the Aghanims.
Yeah, it's a situation where damned if you do, damned if you don't. There really isn't a clear option for them, because if they go for BKB, then they're going to be dealing with an Axe calling you, Bristleback doing a lot of damage, and even though BKB is mandatory up against Meepo 90% of the time, he still does quite a chunk of physical damage too, and yeah, it really feels like it's going to be necessary maybe as a second item, even though that's going to be pretty darn greedy. Meepo now heading his level 11 is also going to have his two Meepos up. He actually had that the level previous, but he is currently sitting at an amount of split pushing power that's rivaling that of even a Naga Siren.
Yeah, and if he can just get these waves pushed out, it's going to favor him also heavily. And he does have 1,100 gold to go until he has the Aghanims, so he is doing everything he can to recover. Aghanims into that Blink Dagger. We could be looking for oh so many fights in the foreseeable future.
Definitely. Well, that pause really did put a dent into the momentum of this game, but we do have the ability for those fights, as you've already mentioned. Blink Axe up top. If anybody shows their face a little too close to the creep wave, could be in for a nasty surprise. But at least for now, Yu is going to head off into the jungle. But then again, Bristleback is completely covering this middle lane. With the backup from the Io and the Lion, he really doesn't have much to fear.
Indeed, and if there's going to be a fight anywhere right now, I think it'll be mid, considering, they're trading spells. They're looking for the Aphotic Shield onto Cabu to try to buy him some time to get in and maybe get a swap, maybe get a Magic Missile, but this just is so unpleasant for the lineup of TongFu. They can't really go toe-to-toe with Fox, and this is a 3v4 situation. And you still do have 82 just hiding up on that top lane. I'm unsure why he's going all the way up there. Maybe he's just waiting for someone to come and farm, mainly Kian. If he can kill Kian, that's going to be very nice. He does have that blade mail, so I suppose it's going to hurt either way.
Yeah, definitely. And it's not that they're losing out on any farm inside the map. The benefit of having these boots travel on the Meepo means that he's pretty much omnipresent and can go wherever the slack is left. So even though it's a little bit awkward for him, the axe has pretty much everything that's mandatory for him, and it really kind of feels like TongFu knows something's up when you don't feel safe farming within 900 range of your tier 2.
Yeah, and I mean, that's quite the worrying thing. And if they fear the axe that much, imagine maybe
mid,
30 minutes
Ice
down the
Path, they're going to drop Fox down, but an Earth Spike coming out from the line as well as a Hex onto the Troll might be enough to disengage. However, the line going to be met with a Razor. Ultimate activated means the line is going to be dropped very quickly, but even more than that, that's your Agnum Scepter complete up by the Meepo. 5 minutes earlier than I gave him credit for. The farming power of Meepo is something that you can't underestimate. Currently second highest net worth in the game.
Yeah, his recovery is just outstanding, and it seems Roshan, the big man, is going to be the option finally for TongFu. With that battle trance, they're going to look to bring him down as quick as they can, but there is rotation coming through from the Aces lineup. I don't think they're going to get there in time. No, Roshan's going to fall here in favour of TongFu, but we still might see a fight if we're not careful. Foxes needs to be very careful. In comes the Ice Path combo. That's going to catch him with a Macropyre as well. He is very resistant to the damage, but in comes Secret and K7. KL7. They're looking to do what they can. Finger of Death drops onto Kian, but you still got Axe. Get a call onto 2 targets. That's doing some good damage, but they're still going to lose Misa at this rate. A couple of right clicks, and he will burn down to the ground. Still, with the Meepo down, it's a 1-for-1 trade as the Vengeful Spirit falls, and now they need to bring down Yu, ideally. If they can kill Yu, that'll be huge, but I believe Yu is the carrier of the Aegis right now, so that's not exactly going to be an easy target. They lose the Wisp off the back of that fight. In comes the Earth Spike. Do we get another call? Yes, we do. Do we have the Cull, however? Can they bring down Yu? No, he gets frozen midair. There's going to be no way to kill off Yu, and the fight just scales out of control for TongFu. That's a 4-for-1, and they still can kill the Bristleback. Oh no, Bristleback back in the base. Got the hell out of dodge.
It's a huge win for TongFu, especially in the experience department. If you look at that swing, that's absurd. Upwards of 4,000 going into their pockets in a swing of 3,800. It is one of the benefits of having a Meepo on the enemy team. When you kill him, you just bank so heavily on the levels, in particular for the Abaddon and pretty much everybody involved except for the Vengeful Spirit. Tier 1 tower and mid's also going to suffer an immediate fall, and with that momentum, they can look for a little bit more. That's going to be your BKB up very shortly for the Troll Warlord. And let's see, he has the Ogre Club and the Courier, so that is completely done.
It's going to be quite the important pickup for him, being so resistant to the damage of the Meepo and such. But the real thing there that harmed the Aces lineup was their initiation. It was flawed. They couldn't get the heroes they wanted, and hell, having Fox Ice Path into a Macropyre to start a fight is not how you want to start things off for Aces. And partly, I think Fox needs to get a BKB himself, but it seems he's going to finish up his treads now. He does have that Crimson Guard. I think he just needs to get Magic Immune.
Did you see what happened to the Meepo just a couple of seconds ago? He actually died to the Jakiro Unvenge again.
Wow, I actually missed that one.
Fell over by the tier 1 tower over here. Not sure what he was doing.
You gotta respect the damage capability of Kabu. I mean, Vengeful Spirit does hit pretty hard, and we do have max points in Wave of Terror, so that negative armor is something to always keep in mind.
Definitely. Well, Aces, they're going to farm up a little bit, but their grip on this game is completely fallen off. That one fight is quite an impressive swing inside the net worth graph. Going to swing things.
In comes the relocate.
Ooh, it's going to be in mid as they look towards the Razor. They lock down the Axe, however, he's able to do nothing. Inside the Macropyre, he's just dropping too darn low. Blade Mail activate, it's not going to save you here, and he's going to tick down to the Jakiro's damage from Liquid Fire. They'll bring down Kabu in return, making it a 1-for-1 trade, but it's not over yet. Is Fox now getting bashed down by the Troll Warlord with the Link activated by the Razor. They'll bring down this Bristleback, and the Meepo is nowhere close and can't do anything. And they still have this Aegis on you. They'll be able to push down mid and look for a tier 2 tower as well.
That all came down once again to a flawed initiation. The Axe jumped in, instant Yules into the air, but more importantly, when the relocate came, the Ice Path hit both relocating heroes plus the Axe. 3 heroes stuck in an Ice Path is no way to start a fight. That was so flawed coming out of the Aces.
It really has been, and throughout this game, too, the Axes just found himself in some really awkward spots where they're not actually able to follow up. He either jumps in the sidelines, gets kited perpetually by TongFu. The saving grace for Aces right now is that Misa now has the Agnum Scepter and the Blink Up, so his pickup potential is pretty high, but we have yet to see him actually utilize it. 0, 5, and 1 on the Meepo.
That kind of that kind of kiting style against an axe, I suppose that's how you deal with him. You don't give him that opportunity to initiate properly. You kite him out of the fights because he cannot do anything if you're not in melee range with him. Battle Hunger's only level 1. It's, in all honesty, a joke. Yu's going to be found here, but he does have backup from Kabu. In comes the BKB from Yu. He's just going to go toe-to-toe with the 82. There's no way for this one, but in comes the blink from Misa. He's going to blow up that Vengeful Spirit, and the fight, well, it's going to be a 1-for-1 at this point, and now he's going to turn around to look for KL7, but KL7 gets that Hex off, and I think this is a very dead Yu. Finger of Death to ensure it, but no, he's going to be back with that Aegis. But in the meantime, the lineup are going to try to bring down Misa, LPC, trying to go toe-to-toe with this one, doing good damage with Kian, and they will finish off that Meepo, but relocate out by the Wisp's going to buy some time. Buyback by the Axe is going to try to get back into this one. Fox is going toe-to-toe here. Kian going to burn him down, all that negative arms there. Call onto 3, though. Going to buy some time for Fox to try to retreat, but no, he will go down to that Razor, and it's Kian with a double kill. Now the culls are dropping. Kian on a triple. Make that Yu on a killing spree as well. This is not the fight that the Aces needed, and everyone's going to drop. That's 6 heroes killed, or even the dieback by the Axe. That is so horribly wrong for Axes.
It really is. After those 2 fights, it really feels like TongFu were in a commanding lead this game. That blink coming out from Misa was so darn greedy. They were focusing the Axe down in this vicinity, and then he blinks over the trees to try to chase for more. They really felt like they forgot there was an Aegis, or just felt that they could deal with it, and when you're dealing with a troll, that's such a risky prospect. Tier 2 tower going to fall immediately after the fact. After a 5-man wipe, it's expected that you're going to get some sort of map objective.
Yeah, that kind of power coming out of TongFu, it just shows. I mean, I have to reference this. The graph, look at the experience. That isn't a shallow slope, that's a bloody avalanche of experience in favor of TongFu. And the graph for gold is even worse. That was a 5k gold lead. It's now a 5k gold lead for TongFu instead. It's a bloody avalanche, a 10k swing in so few minutes.
Really is. You, for me at the very least, is positioning inside the fights, and all of that has really been pivotal for them, and not to mention the Jakiro. Really good placement of the macro powers, making it almost impossible for the Meepo and Axe to do anything, and they keep them in there. Even with just the Yule Scepter, Ice Path, and Magic Missile as their hard lockdown, that really seems like it's all that they've needed. Well executed by TongFu.
Yeah, that's an understatement. In all honesty, TongFu have been fighting so well in this one. They kept the Meepo down. They transitioned from what was a rough early game due to Troll and Axe, well, due to the Axe mainly and the Bristleback, into Troll just tearing things apart. This is quite the show of force from TongFu.
Yeah, it really is. That begs the question, what's the next step for Aces? I think they just need to rely on pickoffs and look for the global gank potential with the IO relocate as well as the boot to travel with the Meepo. They can be anywhere that they want to be in just a couple of seconds. That's so risky, however, with the way that TongFu are positioning themselves and without the aggressive vision to back it up. They have good vision on their side of the map if you take a look at the Radiant wards. But then again, there's really no potential for them to find those picks because the rest of the map is completely dark.
Well, they just need to find the pickoffs, and they just are just being countered all the damn time. But the biggest problem, and the biggest problem in the entire game for Aces, is their initiation power. They're just getting stopped by TongFu. TongFu are seeing it coming. They're getting Yule's, they're getting brilliant ice paths. I'm going to put this entire game down to man of the match being Xingqiu on that Jakiro. He has been playing phenomenally, and now he's got an Atos as well. He's going, he's going for an Aghanim Scepter Jakiro.
And honestly, I can't fault it, especially since he already has pretty much every other item that Jakiro could want. Maybe bar a Blink Dagger, but Atos, Yule's Scepter, and now that Ags is just going to be so annoying to fight up into. Aces do have a split-pushing Meepo to somewhat fall back on, and that's going to be a nuisance, but it really feels like they need to be taking these fights, or at least taking fights of some sort, in order to keep themselves afloat. This is not a lineup that wants to just sit back and farm.
No, it's not a lineup that really can afford to sit back or farm either. They want to be aggressive, and they need to be aggressive. Hell, I'd say both sides need to be aggressive, and the Meepo needs to start getting involved a bit more as well. Speaking of Meepo, very aggressive on the enemy side of the map, and has to be careful considering if we take a look at the Dire Jungle, you got Yu, LPC, and Xingqiu realizing, yep, that's a Meepo, let's kill him. And Misa needs to be careful of that. Yeah, he's going to blink the hell out. He realizes something is amiss.
Yeah, he does always have a Meepo inside the base, so he does have that 1.5 seconds, as long as he finds just the smallest of windows to transition away from the fight, but And again, it's not reliable. They have plenty of damage to focus down the Meepo at this point, if they can lock him in place, and they've been doing an admirable job of that. He's going to transition down towards the bottom lane, so for now, he is avoiding losing his life, but he just has to play so carefully. They just don't have the map vision to keep this Meepo safe.
No, they don't. And important item pickup by you there. It's the Diff Blade again. We saw this so powerfully used yesterday, and I've got to say, I do like this pickup. And it's a Battle Abaddon. We've got the Maelstrom for the Abaddon. I suppose this does work quite nicely with the Curse of Avernus. I almost said Fury of Frostmourne. Curse of Avernus, they're going to favour the Troll Warlord, going to favour the entire team. And now with the Maelstrom on top of that, this is going to be painful for the Aces.
Definitely. I think one of the biggest issues, or rather, never mind. That's not what I was going to talk about. It's going to just take a small note on the Abaddon's Maelstrom. I really like it because of the battle trance. He's going to be swinging lightning everywhere. But there you go. It is going to be an Aegis for the Troll Warlord, and now TongFu. They have some real potential to take more tier 2s and maybe even find high ground if they get a good fight.
If they can get any high ground advantage, it's just going to be so burying really for the lineup. But now we've got the relocate going for you, but you've got his BKB going. 82 is going to come in. They're trying to do some good damage to the troll, but no, swap out defensively by Cabo, who's going to buy some time. Battle Trance now comes up, but you goes back in. He's going to get swarmed by that Meepo. How do you fight the Meepo like that? You can't. You have to commit and kill the Meepo outright. But the Aegis was forced. Yu comes back in. Can he find anyone? Going to go for KL7. They managed to finish him off. Kien picks up the kill. And now Meepo needs to get the hell out of dodge. Going to successfully do so. But you still got Fox and 82 lurking around. If they can maybe get some kind of kill, it would be nice. But there's going to be no one they can pick off. This TongFu lineup are so clustered. They are so unified as a pushing force. Where one goes, there'll be three.
There was a glimmer of hope there, however, if Aces are able to isolate a single target, their ability to take them down is incredible. Right now, they have a Yasha up on the Meepo. It doesn't work wonderfully with Meepo, since it actually doesn't give the movement speed bonus to the other Meepos, but more than anything, it gives them some much-needed stats, and I think it is going to be a Manta style up for him next.
Yeah, Manta does make some sense, and I think just having the extra illusions to push and to poof to is going to be nice, but part of me wants to say a Skadi would be more valuable.
Yeah, I think that definitely has its merits. We'll have to see how well he's going to be able to use the Manta style. It is a very high skill cap item. If you're able to get the Manta dodges on like a magic missile, if they're aiming that towards the main Meepo, or if you're able to bait out some initiations onto Manta illusions, things could be different. So, as a general rule, I do like Skadi better on Meepo. We'll just have to see how he plays, though.
Yeah, the Skadi in this case I vie for just because of the nice bit of attack speed slow that it can provide, plus more slows for the Meepo, which is always a good thing. I mean, it also gives you more stats to share between the Meepos. It's quite the nice thing, but Heaven's Halberd now comes up for Fox, which is going to help out quite considerably. I was looking for maybe the BKB, but with this you can sort of lock off the Troll Warlord when he gets outside of his BKB. Problem with that, though, is he's still got 8 seconds on the BKB duration on you. The other person you could, of course, throw the Heaven's Halberd on would be Kian, but Kian has himself a BKB as well, and he's got a 9-second duration.
Definitely. Well, we are going to potentially see a pickoff onto Secret. He's going to be bumped into by you, but actually not going to go for it. That was just a solo IO. Potentially some mind games there. You don't expect the IO to be alone. Blink in mid from the Troll, going to go hard onto the Axel. You'll scepter him up into an Ice Path, but that's going to give them a little bit of time to disengage with an Earth Spike. However, diffused up is going to be whipped down by Kian. And for now, that's just going to be the first pickoff for TongFu as they look for more Blink Board, Atos, Ice Path onto KL7. However, Zinq is currently alone, going to drop a Dual Breath that misses, not going to be able to cancel out Blink Dagger, and Line will make it safe towards this base, but the Tier 2 tower are not going to be so lucky, as look at how fast that drops. Glyph is the only reason why it's still standing.
The power of the Troll Warlord. But the other thing I'm going to mention there, the nice thing about the Diff Blade, it purges the Crimson Guard, which is something you cannot underestimate. The Crimson Guard does so much against, say, the Troll Warlord. It blocks 50 damage every damn hit. And the Troll, he's not really the highest hitting hero on the map, but certainly without that Crimson Guard up, heroes will just melt under his firepower.
Currently chilling with the Meepo. The Manta illusions are going to be sent out by him. It's fairly obvious that these are illusions. They will commit a Magic Missile and an Atos, But that's about it. Actually, no, the diffuse was used on top of it all. Still, doesn't really matter much. It is just going to be a handful of spells, and they do take away those illusions. You'll set it down at bottom, however. Yep.
This is not going to be good. The Macropie is there. You're losing Misa at this rate, and LPC is just going to town. Battle Abaddon is a true threat, and well, that's 60 seconds with no Meepo. This could be push territory right now for the Aces, and they're going to have to get out with that relocate. But in comes the call from 8-2. If they can bring down the Abaddon, that's going to be quite nice. But he's got his borrowed time up, and now in comes Kian, who's just going to evaporate the Axe. And still, you've got the Meepo back into the fight in the back lines, but Xingqiu should be able to escape this one. And you've got Zhu just going to town onto the lowest Meepo. There's going to be no way to stop that. That's a dieback by the Meepo, and a triple kill for LPC's Abaddon. The Battle Abaddon is to be feared, and for good reason.
It really is. With that Battle of Trance, it's pretty darn sick. It's not something we get to see very often. Good focus fire coming out from TongFu. They're able to take down Misa the second time, and really that buyback did nothing for him. And he's currently at 0 gold. Oh my goodness, I just missed a kill on the IO that Abaddon's able to find with a little bit of help coming out from Gian, but still LPC doing quite a lot of work in the last couple fights, and he's going to have a Mjolnir up at this rate, and I do like this pickup for him. If not, to put the active on himself, just throwing that onto the Troll Warrior while he man fights is going to be such a useful boon for his team.
But speaking boons, in comes the Hex, and KL7 looking to try to do something, but he's just hesitant. He can't really decide to go on anyone, considering in comes Kian, as well as Kabu. They have to now respect this kind of firepower and the swap, but just look how quickly these buildings melt under this kind of strength. TongFu getting the first full set of racks, and now they're going to rotate to the mid, looking to get a second set. And this could just be the nail in the coffin for Aces. If they cannot defend this second set of racks, I don't think they're going to be able to have a leg to stand on.
Yeah, it really doesn't feel like it. They are going to respect the power of Meepo, as they are going to pull out as soon as Misa respawns, but still, that's tier 3 damage that they won't have to commit towards next time. That's a completed Scotty up for the Troll Warlord, and they're smoked and potentially going to find a very easy pickup onto Fox. He has some Meepo backup behind him, but they might be in a compromising position up towards the north. They are going to get the finger initiation onto the Jakiro, and now the Meepo joins the fray. He's inside the macro power, however, and with the focused axis coming out from the Troll Lord, as well as the Battle Abaddon, they're going to be able to bring him down, and there's no Meepo for 60 seconds. Fox the next to fall. The only survivor is Axe, and I don't think he's going to be able to do enough. This very well could be our second set of barracks and GG. I don't think Aces are going to call it immediately, but they might go throne as well. They know Meepo has no buyback.
They know Meepo has no buyback, and more importantly, they've got that 4-man kill advantage. This is just nuts. The power coming out of TongFu is just phenomenal, and the Mjolnir doing so much work in that last fight. LPC actually cast it on himself, and he was just zapping the Meepo left, right, and down center. But it's going to be a mask of madness for LPC, as well as a plate mail. He's going to go for an AC if he can get it, and he's going to just taunt LPC into the fountain, but can you really kill the Abaddon? In comes the borrowed time, and well, he's just going to swim in the fountain, just have a bit of a bath, and he does not really care about any of this damage, and it's time for the throne. You and the rest of the TongFu lineup, they are going to seal the deal on this series 2-0. GG is called.
Very well played, coming out from TongFu. By raw draft, I really liked Ace's plan, but they just take one too many really sketchy engagements. There was like 4 fights where the axe calls really did nothing. And the kiting potential, as well as the execution from TongFu, was immaculate. A show of force from them in this game number 2.
Completely agreed. And honestly, TongFu, they can look to do a lot in this tournament. I am looking forward to their further exploits in the DAC.
Definitely. Well, for now, that's going to be it, at least for my casting. We are going to pass the helm over towards Coucher. So after this game, we are going to have a little bit of downtime on the stream, but it shouldn't be too long. Thanks for watching, and we will have some more back up here on HeflaTV 1 shortly. If you like the casting, HeflaTV can be followed at Twitter, Facebook, and here on Twitch, and the VODs will be uploaded a little bit after the cast to youtube.com/HeflaMook. So hope to see you in the future, but for now, that's it for me. We'll have a fresh set of casters for you soon.